So I'm going to try and keep this fast. I'm going to go backwards from what I normally do. Normally I start off in the west, or rather in the east, and then move west. But since the prior portions of this video have gone pretty long, I'm going to try and make this pretty quick. So I'm going to move a division onto Fort St. Philip, and then also a division onto Fort Jackson. Now their cohesion is pretty low for the guys that are moving down here, so I'm going to move them down the river and then land them, but not assault them. And I think because his guys are inside the forts here, they're not outside, I don't believe there should be any sort of amphibious assault or battle or anything like that. So I should be able to land here and then just kind of hang out and then get my cohesion rebuilt, because my cohesion is pretty low. And the reason I want these forts is to open up the supply to New Orleans. Still get military control of the rail line just north of New Orleans. Now up here in Chattanooga, I'm going to build the redoubt here. I'm moving forward with the core, and then that'll put me only 3 areas away from Atlanta. Moving horses over here to get military control of this rail line. And then obviously I have my cavalry back here, there, and there, cover my rear, and trying to keep my supply lines open to Nashville. Now I am moving, what am I doing with him? Oh, that's right, I'm moving down here. Take this. Part of the reason is I'm just trying to open up even more supply to eventually perhaps open up the Mississippi entirely. Taking obviously Fredericksburg would be one of the objectives in accomplishing that, but I don't think it hurts to take this area down here since it's pretty open to taking. Here's what we have in Memphis. We have a little less than half of a division, and hopefully we take Little Rock this turn. Now, over in the east, I'm going to attack him, Smith here, with 2 corps, both about 3,000 power each. Now, he did take his corps that was in Alexandria and moved it up here to the stockade, which he did take. Although, I don't know if I don't think I lost any morale. I might have lost. No, I didn't lose any morale from that. It doesn't look like, at least. But, anyways. So Alexandria is wide open to take now. So I'm going to go forward and take it. Now, I am going to try and destroy the depot nonetheless. Because this way, even if I lose Alexandria, he only has, I think, Harper's Ferry as the nearest depot to supply this entire army of like 100,000 dudes. Or whatever it is that's out here. Maybe 150,000 guys. So he's going to run low on supply pretty quickly, which is going to force him to either attack me or try and withdraw. Which, if he withdraws, then I will chase him and attack him as he withdraws. So we're going to do that. Move on Alexandria, attack here in Annapolis, and then I'm moving some of my forces back to Philadelphia to board ships and then bring them down to DC if I need to, because right now Annapolis is contested and I can't send guys through rail down here. So these are the 2 divisions that I have moving to Alexandria. All right, building some militia, because that's all I can really afford at this point, since everything else is going to replacements. 15 to line, 3 into elite, 3 into cavalry, a bunch into my navy, since my navy's been hurting for quite some time and I've been neglecting it, and then 3 into supply wagons. Now, there's going to be another big battle probably here, right? So those replacements might be gone next turn as well, which means even more money getting thrown into replacements. I am spending money on rail pool though, so we're going to do that. And then I've decided not to raise taxes and not to print money, and our inflation is 1%. All right, so let me get the turn back over to Josh, and we will go from there.
All right, it is early September 1863. There were just a few battles. I'll just really got nothing else to go over with you, so I guess I'll just go over those. First one was here. I lost 4 morale. I was on defensive, so I guess he was on attack. But I lost a lot of men. And I wasn't moving them, so they were just sitting here on defense green. So I guess he attacked. That seems like a lot of casualties, lopsided for that, but it is what it is. When I was watching the battle, he had about 80,000 men. I had 20,000. I'm not sure why they just didn't retreat. So that hurts, but that's how this game's been going. So, one at Fairfax, he took Alexandria. I figured he'd probably do that. I was hoping he wouldn't, but at least give me another turn or something. But he did. And then I did get one morale for taking Baltimore. So I did take Baltimore. I was hoping there was a lot more supply here. There's not that much. And from what I'm seeing here, Lee's like very much out of supply. So I don't know. He'll probably start taking hits next term because I'm not sure if this supply is getting to him, but this supply should transfer up here. I guess I could build a depot. Can I build a depot? As well. So I'm gonna change that. Let's start running the video. I'm sure he's be coming down here with some forces. He's probably just going to leave what he's got up here and bring forces from all over the rest of the country to come in and take Richmond. I do have... I made this into 3 divisions here, and I'm going to come up and try to take, or at least hold this. I may try to come in and take this the next turn. Now this isn't a strong army here. I have one semi-good division there, but the rest of them are kind of just volunteers, militia. But, you know, I gotta do something. I gotta keep supply here. Hopefully, I may try, depending on if he moves back this turn, I'm not sure if he's gonna... He's pretty aggressive, so he might just come through here. I hope it takes him more than 5 days. I get here before him, and it just crushes these 2 divisions here. Hopefully, that's what happens. We will see. Other than that, I got Alexander up here coming up to take York, because there is farmlands there, so it should kind of help with my supply issue, and I may just kind of try to take some of these other cities here just to, you know, suck supply down this way. If I can get these forces built up enough, I may try to push on Hooker and then DC. I mean, it probably ain't gonna happen, but I will do the best I can. Other than that, there's really nothing to report. So we'll get this sent over and we'll get it run.
Alright, so we're in early September 63. I haven't actually looked at the battles here, so we're going to do this together. But it looks like he did move in to take Baltimore, but we did win Annapolis in the sense that he's over here in the stockade area. So let's go through those battles there. Alright, so he had 67,000 troops that were involved in the battle. He lost 8,300. We lost 2,900. We had 100,000 troops, well, 101 roughly, involved. It was only 1 round. So we won that one pretty resoundingly. I don't know if we got any morale for that. That was probably this one that pushed him back there. We did take Alexandria, so that's great. You can see here. And then up there in Baltimore, we had 2,500 troops. He had 25,000. And he only lost 984. Alright, and then this is just south of Chattanooga. So what I'm doing here is I'm going to press forward towards Atlanta some more, trying to get military control of this rail line. I'm using my cavalry to cover my rear along the rail lines here. Going back over here to Virginia really quick. I'm going to actually attack him. So I'm crossing the river, which is never a good idea, right? But I do have a pontooner. And then I have 2 corps that'll be involved in that battle. He'll only have 2 corps as well, but I know I have the strength. So he's got 3,600, but this guy's more like a 1,200. So I do have the numbers, although I am crossing that river, but I'm counting on the fact he doesn't have a lot of entrenchment here. to try and take advantage of that. Now that I have Alexandria, I'm going to send my cavalry down here, try and take care of this depot, this size 2 depot, burn that. I'm sending my my partitions down here to try and take this depot out. So I'm really just trying to completely eliminate his supply. As you can see, Lee has no supply right now. So I'm trying to completely starve him out. And hopefully we can accomplish that. Now, he could jump across to Leesburg, right? Which he does that, then we'll have to reassess what we're going to do. But we'll see going forward. But I do want to take out these depots and make it so he has to pull all the way back to Richmond, perhaps. I am rotating my fleet down here, so I'm pulling these guys out. I now have all my merchant fleet back down here, with the exception of 4 transports that I'll use to continue transporting troops to DC. But that now we have a full litany of transports in the shipping lane. And what I found really ironic and sad, okay, because you're the Union, you have a ton of money to begin with, right? Look at this. I'm getting my number 2 cash crop place right now is New Orleans. So I'm getting 42 cash from New Orleans, which means he's getting at least that much not getting contributed to the CSA, although he's probably getting more than that. And then I'm also getting $15 per turn from Charleston, even though the loyalty is like 7% Union, 8% Union. So I could be getting even more than that from Charleston if it was above 50%. So not only did I completely cripple his economy, but now it's contributing to mine as well. So it's just kind of a double slap in the face, unfortunately, for the CSA. But I just found that ironic, considering we don't need money as Union. He's lost 420,000. We've lost 360,000 so far. So we're only in 63, and we've already suffered about 80,000 more casualties than the actual Civil War did combined. And that doesn't include prisoners of war, which I've captured 68,800. And I don't know how many of mine he's captured. His morale's down to 83. Ours is up to 127, and it's 127 because I've decided to print more to make more money by raising taxes. It's going to cost me 2 morale, but I could use that money to keep the pressure on. Now down here in New Orleans, we were able to land without conflict, but our cohesion's so low. I'm just going to wait a turn, get my cohesion back up, then attack. I was able to promote Sherman to 2-star. So he'll be a corps commander that I'll move over to the east once operations down here in the New Orleans area taken care of. And we still haven't taken Little Rock because he keeps missing his activation roll, which is incredibly frustrating. And that is about it as far as things to report on. We did get some militia. We got 4 militia units built in the east, 2 built in the west. And then here what we have is, these are kind of like, big stacks. So there's like close to half a division worth of troops, these 2 right here. And then artillery, because I'm trying to build another artillery division. And then replacements. 4 elites, 9 line, 4 cavalry. And that. So let's run the turn and see how it goes. How is that a Union defeat? That's this right here. No, they must have just fled. Okay, so here we go. My corps against his. I got 36,000-ish. He's got 24. Let's see if our other 2 corps come and join this battle. I do have the river crossing penalty, which I don't like to do. But that was really my only way to get to him before he started getting dug in. So I'd say he's doing better than I am so far. But let's see if the other 2 corps get involved. If his corps gets involved, then it's going to be a bit closer in terms of numbers because his other corps is about the same size as Kearney's corps, which is the one that's south in Annapolis. Hooker is one of my best corps commanders, though. I'd say maybe second to Meade. That's why I attacked with him. Although now that Sherman's a corps commander, he might be my second best corps commander behind Meade. So he's definitely doing better than I am right now. It's just a question on whether he's blue-red or what his posture was, because as we get closer to the assault phase, he might be more inclined to flee. So by the way, my strategy now that I have New Orleans and Charleston is to cut off his supply line and bleed him, because he cannot afford to replace his troops like I can. So now I'm going to look for every opportunity to attack him, kind of like I was earlier in early 63. But all right, so now both of our corps are vying. So now it's 2 corps versus 2 corps. But now I'm going to be even more aggressive about it, like this here, where I'm attacking him across the river, which I probably would not have done in early 63, definitely would not have done in 62. But now I felt like it was worth the risk, because at a minimum, I can get my corps in his region, and we'll be sharing a region. He'll be deep behind my lines, and he cannot afford to replace those troops like I can. And then all the while, I'm going to build up a corps to move on Richmond, while my other corps is moving on Atlanta. Although I suspect what's going to happen very soon here is he's going to pull his guys out of over there by D.C., back across to Leesburg, and then back towards Richmond, which then will be really just kind of a war of attrition, where I'm going to be having to fight for every inch to get down to Richmond. Well, the one thing I didn't mention before I started this turn is I sent a scout ship up to Richmond to see what he had there. It looks like he has about 2 divisions is what he has in Richmond at the moment. So I have about 20,000 more troops than he does. And he's really trying to hold out here. All right, he's starting to lose more troops here. More so than I am. All right, so it looks like one of his corps left the battlefield. I'm surprised I'm not inflicting more casualties than that with 67,000. He's only got 15,500. So he's already, I think, burned all the cards that he can for money, all the $800,000 cards. So at this point, he's going to have to rely on his economy for the replacements, which he has no economy because I took New Orleans and Charleston. So he's got very little money to work with. He's got Richmond. He's got Savannah. He's got New Hanover. I believe that's what it's called. And that's about it as far as money-making places for the CSA. And all of those that I just mentioned that he has money-making do not add up to, I think, Charleston, probably. They definitely don't add up to New Orleans, because New Orleans is a big moneymaker. So, and I've got Charleston or Richmond blockaded, so that doesn't make nearly as much money. So I'm surprised he only got 16,900. It seemed like he would have lost a lot more than that. It was a very close battle. So he lost 17,000. I lost 27, 12, 12.7. He had less troops than I did, so he definitely fared better than I did. But still, Union victory. So I'll take it. That means I'm not going to suffer any morale hit for it. River costume penalty definitely hurt us. It was only 3 rounds. Huh. We'll dissect that later. Alright, so we were able to push him out of there. So he went north. So now my force up there north just got caught in a situation. So looks like we engaged his ships down there. That's good. So it looks like we once again missed our activation roll at Little Rock. So I'm going to disconnect him from Butler because it seems like that is a hindrance, not a advantage that we have having that extra chain of command. Because it's getting ridiculous. Like, we should have had this by now. Like, look, he missed his activation roll again. So we are going to disconnect you. And he'll go up to 311 probably. Alright, get military control. We'll take care of that later. What happened down here? Okay, so we pushed him back further. I mean, I might just keep pressing. I've got 4 wagons, right? So I should be good. Put him aside there.
Will you come with me, my Philistine, to yon blue mountain free, where blossoms smell the sweetest?
Yeah, it looks like we'll probably be able to walk right into Atlanta. So that's good. Military controls coming along nicely over here. And I'm sieging this. So the reason I put him in here is this trait right here. This element will immediately destroy an enemy depot or stockade when captured. Right, so where did this guy come from? I wonder if he came from Richmond. He doesn't want to lose that depot. That's what it's all about. And I think I'm out of cards. Shoot. I think I'm out of rating cards. Yeah. We dodged a bullet there because it's going to destroy that depot too. Nonetheless, that depot, was I able to destroy this one? Yes. No, I was not. Okay. So he's got this one here. He's got this one here. That's the depots he has. That's 4 deployed to supply his entire army. I'm going to hopefully take this one out. We'll see. He's got this force here. I got to watch out for that. Okay. So he went up here. He's got a little beat up, but not too bad. How's Kearney? Yeah. So, short of attacking Stuart, does it make much sense for me to attack Holmes? Because then Lee can reinforce him. I'll have to figure out what to do next here. This guy just fled. That was kind of stupid. 127. We got 2 from battles. -2 from options and events. Which that was the using the money to lose 2 morale to raise taxes, and then return to neutral. Yeah, gotcha. Okay, but we're in good shape because we can get this down pretty quick. All right, sweet. And then as far as money is concerned, we got 122 for merchants, merchant fleet. City income's 507. So we're doing well. We're nice and healthy. I'm probably going to burn some money in conscripts here pretty soon because we're down to 450, and I'm going to go through that pretty quick. But I've got these guys that I can send down to DC to reinforce a division down there. Yeah, he's good to go, I think. Make sure he's not conscript. He's light infantry. Okay. Okay, let me sort this all out, and I'll be back. Okay, so I know a lot's going on here, but to simplify it down pretty easily, Hooker, I'm going to have attack and get Baltimore back. I am going to move Pleasanton down, take care of these guys. I've got Kearney coming up here and attacking Holmes. And the reason I'm doing that is even though I know that all of his corps might be able to support that battle, Stuart's pretty tore up. As you can see, Holmes is relatively tore up. And if Lee moves to the sound of guns, then more than likely Grant and Meade will as well. And as you can see, I have twice as much power as Lee does here with those two guys. So I'm comfortable doing that because then I can kind of push him back across the river, hopefully, and kind of reassert control over my flank and my rear, and then swing around and start pushing down towards Richmond. Now, I wanted to take this depot here. I wasn't able to do it. He did move Johnson up, and I'm assuming he moved up from Richmond, which probably means he doesn't have anybody in Richmond now. So I'm going to move him down here, see if I can get eyes on Richmond. Also, because he might move a division on here, because he's running short on depots. He's got this one here, a 2 depot, and then a 1 at Manassas, and that's it, right? So I was able to destroy several other depots here in his rear. So he doesn't have much supply pushing up from Richmond at the moment. So I'll try and get eyes on Richmond. I'm getting military control here up the peninsula. I'm going to bring in probably 3 or 4 turns here, which I hate that it's going to take that long, but that's what it's going to take. I'm going to bring Lyon and 2 divisions from down at New Orleans up to here. And then I'm going to take a division from DC and combine it with him, so he'll have at least 3 divisions, and he's going to threaten Richmond in the rear. If he decides to stay up here like this, then so be it. Then I can take Richmond. So that's really just kind of what's going on up here. So it looks like a lot of movement, but the reality is there's not a whole lot going on. Hopefully I'll take these forts this turn. I'm bringing some transports over, parking them in Pickens, and then I'll move them up to New Orleans to pick up my dudes and take them over to Virginia. Still haven't taken Little Rock, which is really annoying, but whatever. Keeping the pressure on, moving towards Atlanta. So I got these guys are coming down here, digging in at Chattanooga, and then I'm using cavalry in my rear to kind of clean up this disruption he's trying to create on my supply lines. That's what I'm building, a bunch of militia, and then replacements. So 10 line, 2 light, 1 militia, 2 cavalry, and that's it. Now I am also doing rail pull and volunteers. Now I'm spending a lot of money on volunteers. I'm doing $1.50, and the reason I say it's a lot is that we have 127 morale, so we really don't have to do that. But I'm also got a lot of cash, and I want to make sure I have enough conscripts to spend all my money. So I am spending a pretty considerable amount of money next turn on volunteers, and then if you can see Riverpool and Railpool. So that's a lot of money that's not going into troops, but I need it for my logistics. All right, let me get this over to Josh, and we'll continue with the game.